Hi friends, Mike Tomford here. Today we're doing Psalm 52. Title says, The Steadfast Love of God Endures. To the choir master, a maskil of David. Now the word maskil means it's a teaching psalm or a psalm of instruction. It's written by King David when Doeg the Edomite came and told Saul, quote, David has come to the house of Abimelech. So before I read a couple of verses, let me just talk about the context of this psalm. So we can read the story in 1 Samuel chapter 21 and chapter 22 and those surrounding chapters. And basically it was a really intense time in David's life when he was running away from Saul. Saul at this point was a crazed maniac. He was literally demonically possessed, and he was trying to kill David. And he was chasing him all over the countryside. So it was a really intense and difficult time for David. He's young. He has some men that are being kind of joining to him. But he's out in the countryside, and he's running from Saul, running for his life. So as he's running, he doesn't know when he meets people, are these people for me or are they against me? Are they going to help me or are they going to turn me in? And so it's a really intense time in his life. And this guy Doeg was basically a shepherd, and he was one of those guys that turned David in. The story was that David was with Abimelech. Abimelech was a priest, and he lived in the town of Nob, N-O-B, and he would often help David. And he'd give him food. He would inquire for the Lord on his behalf. He gave him Goliath's sword. He did all this stuff to help him. And so Doeg one day saw this happening. And then he went back and basically was a tattletale to Saul and said, oh, I know where David is. Abimelech, he's helping him. And so Saul goes to Abimelech. And so he says, so what's going on? Why are you helping I'm paraphrasing, obviously. Why are you helping my enemy? Abimelech's like, since when is David your enemy? I thought he was a good guy. And so then Saul does something horrible. He literally orders the murder of Abimelech and 85 priests in total. It was a horrible, totally unrighteous, totally wicked, totally evil for Saul to do this. And Doeg was right in. He was part and parcel of this wicked act of Saul. So here's what David is writing, basically describing this incident with Doeg the Edomite. Verse 1, why do you boast of evil, O mighty man? By the way, when he's referring to O mighty man, he's being sarcastic. That's what he's calling Doeg. The steadfast love of God endures all the day. Your tongue plots destruction like a sharp razor, you worker of deceit. You love evil more than good and lying more than speaking what is right. Selah. You love all words that devour, O deceitful tongue. But God, verse 5 is the one I wanted to highlight. But God will break you down forever. He will snatch and tear you from your tent. He will uproot you from the land of the living. Selah. So when I was in Bible school, I remember one of my instructors said something that I've always remembered. And he said this. He says, you know, when you see like wicked people, people that are dead set against God and against his church and against his people, and you see them doing all kinds of evil, you know what? You can take a deep breath. And you can actually remember this fact, that if God wanted to, he could, before the sun went down today, take that person off of planet Earth. He literally could. He wouldn't have to ask permission, by the way. Look at what it says. It says, God will break you down. He will snatch and tear you from your tent. He will uproot you from the land of the living. So I don't like the idea, well, let me just put it this way. God is the God of justice. He will judge evil. And there are evil and wicked people on planet Earth that are dead set against his ways. So for the believer, we can take a deep breath. we know that God knows how, he knows where people live, and he knows if he wanted to, he could take them off the scene at any moment. And if he chooses not to, we can take a deep breath too and say, all right, well, God has chosen to let this person live another day. And so and the other thing is, I don't have to take matters into my own hands. I can be at rest. I can be at peace. God is the judge of all flesh. He is the God. He's the judge of the living and the dead. I don't need to be. I can just rest, and I can serve him with joy, with patience, with endurance, and that's the kind of confidence that David had. May we, as we see all kinds of evil in the world around us, may we be a people of great confidence that Jesus truly is on the throne. Amen. God bless you.